Okay, hello, this is Dr. James, and today I'm going to try to do some experiments with some mechanical oscillators. Have some applications for other things, which I'll talk about maybe later, maybe I won't. Here is, I had this idea, I went to the park and kids were playing with a xylophone, and I wanted to make a high power mechanical oscillator. This is a chunk of aluminum cut it's pretty thin. So how does a xylophone key work? Let's take a look here. So we have a piece of aluminum here, and let's say we hit it. If you grab it right at the right spot, it will ring. Now let's try this. It's so easy to hold it up and down. So if I hold it too high, it actually goes to a different harmonic. So what's happening is that there's a wave that travels down this piece of metal here, and it has what they call nodes and antinodes. The nodes are where it doesn't vibrate very much, so if you grab it at the two nodes, there's one here and one there, the middle part can vibrate in and out like this, and the ends can vibrate the opposite way, because you always have to have conservation momentum, and that the mass has got to be, center of mass has got to be balanced. Okay. So that's how a xylophone key works. That's why they grab it in two spots. Of course, you could work on higher harmonics, but it's not as loud. The wave is more complicated. It has more cycles in it. This is the lowest order, what they call mode, where it bends this way in the middle, and then it bends this way on the ends like that. Okay, so very cool, huh? So we'll see if we can, let me just draw where the nodes and the center of mass is on this thing, because we're going to do some modifications to see if we can drive it electromagnetically. Electromagnetic xylophone. Very cool, huh? Okay, so let's talk about waves in metal, or mechanical waves. And so we have like a xylophone key here, right? Okay, and let's make it a little bit longer. And so this thing can vibrate in a bunch of different modes, but the lowest order mode will be something like this, where we'll have a node here, and an antinode in the middle, and another node here, and it will vibrate back and forth. Because what's really happening is there's a wave traveling down and back and down and back. And so there's one wave traveling like that and another wave traveling like that. And there's a certain boundary condition. When it hits the ends, it reflects off of the ends and goes back and forth. And so when you take this wave and you add it up, it will cancel out here and here at the nodes. And it will have the maximum vibration amplitude at the antinodes. Okay. This is not the only mode it can vibrate in, but this is the fundamental mode. And so if you grab it at this point, and this point is vibrating very little there. And so you can get a mechanical oscillator that'll not vibrate whatever apparatus you're trying to hold it with. You know, if you grabbed it some other place, it would vibrate your apparatus you're trying to hold it with, and it would damp out this wave. So this will give it a very high Q, what they call Q. And Q is related to the energy that's stored in here over the frequency. And so the more energy it stores, the longer it will ring. Normally when you take some kind of thing like a bell or a guitar string or something and you pluck it or ring it, it'll have a sinusoid and it will damp exponentially. So that's the exponential function for the envelope. And it will look something like this, e to the t over tau, where tau is the damping frequency, and then it'll have an oscillating part. So this is the damping part. The oscillating part will be something like omega t, and that will be related to the frequency and the oscillation. And so that would be something what the function looks like. Okay. So anyway, this structure, we want to vibrate it in the lowest order mode. You know, there could be other modes where if you have a higher frequency, it could like have modes here, 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 whatever. Could be an anti-node mode or node in the middle. Actually, there can't be because you got to conserve mass. But anyway, there could be nodes at other places. And so anyway, that's kind of the theory and the physics behind how this mechanical oscillator or xylophone key works. Very cool, huh? Okay. Okay, so I just by trial and error found about where the nodes were, or where it doesn't vibrate very much. I made some razor blade balance things from some other experiments I was doing with anti-gravity. And I just put them close to the nodes, and let's try this. Maybe it's not perfect, but it seems to vibrate pretty good. Of course, if you move these away from the nodes, see it damps out pretty quick. So you want to get these as close as you can to where the nodes are. Nope, just a little bit off. It doesn't work as well. Okay, I'll have to... Oh, this one came up, moved. So the Q, or what they call the quality factor, the amount of energy you can store in a resonator. Here, that vibrates pretty good. It's very high if you can hold it near the nodes. Of course, this is an anti-node in the middle. There's anti-nodes at either end. The ends wobble like that, and the center just fluctuates in and out like that, bends this way and that. And there's very little movement, hopefully, at the nodes here, and there. And this is what you call the fundamental mode, or the lowest frequency that this piece of metal will oscillate at. There, we got it pretty good again. Okay, very cool, huh? Okay, so here we have a ruler, and we'll measure this thing. It's about 12 inches long. And let's look where the the nodes are. So they're a little bit less than 3 inches, which is a quarter of the way. And of course that's less than 3 inches from the other side, like a quarter inch less on. Is that right, on both sides? Yeah, about a quarter inch less, so 2 3/4 inches. So again, this is the part that vibrates up and down. It fluxes like that, and the ends are waving like this. And these are where the nodes are. And it has a high Q because you can grab it where it doesn't vibrate very much. And this whole thing will oscillate. You can have a good mechanical oscillator that's tuned to a certain frequency. Okay, so let's try something else with this thing. Okay, so I took a marker and a ruler, and I measured where the center of mass is. And I want to take I have some neodymium magnets. Let's see if you can see that. There's my neodymium magnets. So I'm going to take these and kind of split them apart. Stick one on the top and one on the bottom. And we'll just put this right at the center of mass. And then we'll see if we can get this thing to vibrate. Find the new the new nodes. Okay. And maybe we can use this to make an electromechanical oscillator. Very cool, huh? Oh, there. That's pretty close. Okay, let me draw where the new nodes are. Okay, I kind of experimentally fiddled around, oh, maybe I'm a little bit off, about where I thought the new antinodes were. I put dotted lines on there, and I think this one's actually a little bit in further. Shoot, a little bit closer to here. Actually, like that. Okay. And let's test it out. I'll fiddle around with it, but I'm able to get it to vibrate by holding it close to the antinodes. And so let's see if we can drive this electromagnetically. I have this new power supply that I built. Did a video on this thing, the frequency generator, and I hooked it up to some transistor to amplify the power output, and I got some lithium battery. I'm just driving with one right now because got to be careful. If I drive too low of an impedance on the load, it will burn stuff out. So anyway, and I got some coils over here, some electromagnetic coils. We'll see if we can drive this at the resonant frequency and make it oscillate with electromagnetic power. Very cool, huh? Okay, so let's take a look here. We got our xylophone, electromagnetic xylophone with the magnet on it. And I got an oscillate here, and I have some kind of magnet that I made to pick up the vibrations. Let's put this over the magnet, and we'll hit this. Look at that. We're getting measurable oscillations on our scope over here. Let's just make it's on auto. I'll put it on single. Okay. Oh, come on. Run stop. Stop. I'm going to have to set the trigger, it looks like. Okay, here. So we'll run that on run stop, and we'll put our magnet over here. Hit the xylophone key. Oh, run stop. And there we go. Look at that. Let's take a look at our trace here. Okay. So there is our trace. You can see it starts oscillating, and it's got a pretty high Q. It's not damping very much. And this is I did a video on this cool little scope, the FNIR-S1, a while back. And let's look at, we want time cursors, right? Let's take a look at what our frequency is. So our frequency, it looks like up here is 175 hertz. So now we know what frequency we need to drive this guy at. Very cool, huh? Okay. So we'll set up our electromagnetic oscillator to drive at that frequency and see if we can make this thing oscillate, make it hum at 175 hertz. Very cool, huh? Check this guy out over here. Okay, so I turn this guy on, and here, let's see, we'll turn that guy on. And I have the duty cycle set to 50% because that is where you get the most power through a square wave. And the frequency at a 75 hertz, 175 hertz. And I have the power going through this little electromagnet with a core. I guess I taped it down here. And let's, I don't have the power going into it right now, but let me get this hooked up here. Hopefully I don't blow out my FET. Okay. Oh. We'll bring this over here. Oh, it's definitely making a noise. Let me get that situated better. Okay. I'll bring this close. Oh. Okay. So as I bring this close, you can definitely hear it humming, 175 hertz. If I get it too close, it seems to pull the magnet in. Very cool, huh? Electromagnetic xylophone. Ah! Anyway. Okay. So we can just bring this guy across the top like so. You can hear when it gets close. Definitely excites that resonance there. Very cool, huh? Okay, so let's turn this thing on. And let's see. I have the frequency at, it's kind of hard to see it because it blooms out the camera, 185 hertz. And let's just try sweeping the frequency around and see how this thing behaves. Okay, come on. Okay, so we about to turn this signal generator on, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's about 185 hertz. And let's just try putting our magnet up here. You can hear it humming. I'll try sweeping the frequency. That's about 169, 174, 168, 74. I don't know if you can see that. So when I sweep the frequency, it hits a resonance, and this thing makes more noise. Tune the frequency. Oops, I'm doing duty cycle. Sometimes this thing switches from frequency to duty cycle. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. So 170. So the maximum was a little bit off from what we had before. Okay. Okay, it's like 160, 170. Anyway, let me turn that off. So when you sweep through the resonant frequency, the amplitude of the vibrations goes up, as it should. Very cool, huh? Okay, so anyway, here is our xylophone key. And looks like we can actually drive it with these crazy new power supplies that I built. And these electromagnets. And looking to build a high-power electromagnetic mechanical oscillator to do some interesting experiments with some other weird science. I have some theories about what I can do with this, and so we'll see. Maybe it'll be in some future videos. Anyway, this is Dr. James, and hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.